Hey everyone, Josh here again, and I want to talk to you about this supposed Spider-Man reboot that's happening. And now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but didn't the last three Spider-Man movies happen at least within the decade or close to within a couple years of that? I mean, that's absurd. It's fresh in everyone's memory. You can't just reboot a franchise like that. Well, let me take that back. You can reboot a franchise like that. You know what? You're still probably going to make money, but I was really a fan of the other Sam Raimi ones. I'm a huge Sam Raimi fan, and I gotta say, without him, I am much less excited, even if it is in 3D, which I thought they should have done at the time, frankly. Anyway, I gotta say, I'm just. I almost don't understand this. Because it's kind of a double edged sword here. On one hand, I can understand Sam Raimi's perspective saying, I do not want to push it out because it'll compromise my artistic integrity, and especially after Spider Man 3, which he had a lot of things shoved on him unnecessarily. I think he's somewhat justified in saying that and being more wary of that. The studio booting him and Tobey Maguire is a little much. Maybe just get a new director. That might make more sense. Making it more gritty and realistic just seems like a silly ploy to make it more like Batman to me. Let's face it, Spider-Man's not the same character as Batman. He has more fun. That's it. That's all there is to it. And also, I was thinking, there are other franchises that Sony has. What other franchises does Sony have that could really make them a lot of money? Because a lot of the Spider-Man movies made close to $1 billion, and around there at least, and that is a large chunk of money. So having said that, I did look up quite a few things, and I came up with a few of the big franchises just in the last couple years. They have District 9, obviously just came out, cost $30 million, made $205 million worldwide, that is. Now, that's a good sum, don't get me wrong, and it's a popular movie at the moment. I do not think it will reach huge status until the sequel comes out, so at the moment, you can't really rely on that one. The next is Zombieland. It was actually a rather surprise hit of the year, and it did well for an R-rated horror movie. See, did well for that type of movie is what's really, though. I mean, it cost $24 million to make, it made $93 million, roughly. So, that is a good sum. It's a great sum, enough to warrant a sequel, but it's not really something you could base a studio on. Also, the director said he's not going to come back for a couple years to make a sequel, so you're stuck with nothing until then. The Underworld franchise is, many people may not like it, but it is a franchise nonetheless. And actually, I think this is probably one of Sony's better bets. I think if they push out number 4 and get it in 3D like they planned, maybe not. Either way, push it like you would other vampire movies this time. Twilight. May not like it for the Underworld fans, but honestly, these movies make a healthy sum anyway. They usually make around $80 to $90 million. They don't cost much of anything. Rise of the Lycans, the most recent one, only cost $35 million to do a period movie. So I was actually impressed by that sum when I looked it up, by the way. Anyway, I think it could make a lot of money, but at the moment, it's just a solid bet. Also, the two big ones that they have I was looking at are Hancock, Will Smith's superhero movie, which cost $150 million to make, which is a lot, but it made $624 million, shitload of money. That's going to be a big moneymaker for them, but there's not a sequel planned for a few years again. And lastly, Angels and Demons, or I guess the Da Vinci Code franchise. What exactly do you call that franchise as a whole? I'm not sure. Anyway, obviously a huge moneymaker, but the difference is Angels and Demons made significantly less domestically than the Da Vinci Code because of the church's actually rather smart move of not condemning the movie and saying it's a fun movie, effectively damning and destroying all controversy around it, or at least most of it. So, anyway, this long tirade is going on to point out that basically I can understand why Sony wants Spider-Man 4 to really do well, because they do need the money, and considering the PS3's mediocre sales, the abysmal failure of the PSP Go, and the good, but somewhat slower than they'd like, I'm sure, adoption of high-def video, they really probably want extra money in the bank just to ensure that they have something to fall back on, which is having a lot of problems. Other companies come to mind at the moment. Thankfully, Sony's not in that position because they do hold the keys to quite a few good franchises, among other things at least. And like I said, I can understand them wanting that money, but at the same time, firing Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire has become synonymous with the Spider-Man franchise, and I do think that he has become synonymous with it, even if you like him or not, because he has been in 3 now over a good many years, and they're in recent memory. I realize superheroes are a little easier to replace than other characters because a lot of them is the personality and the costume, but nonetheless, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think it's I don't think it's been long enough for a reboot, and I don't think it's really warranted. Because, like I said, I mean, if these things are making, if this other Spider-Man movies made a ton of money with Sam Raimi's help and with little studio interference, then what's the point of rebooting it and taking a chance? Just let the man do his job. Maybe that'd help Sony. Anyway, that's the end of my rant. What do you guys think? I'm really not excited to see his origin story because honestly, we already know how Spider-Man works. It's not like a, forgive me if you're a fan of these heroes, subpar heroes, or I guess second-tier heroes is a better word, like Iron Man, where it's not ingrained into the public conscious how they were born, so to speak. Everyone knows how Spider-Man was born. Everyone knows how Batman created his outfit and all that, but I don't think we need a reboot. I think what would be really smart is an Incredible Hulk-esque reboot, if they're going to do a reboot, if they're set on it, I mean. And, because, I mean, everyone knows it. Why don't we just skip straight to the action? Get some new villains in there. I don't want to watch the same events again. Regardless, I guess we'll see come 2012, the end of the world, if the other world doesn't end. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you all later. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If not, it was nice to rant.